So, does this backdrop look familiar? Of course it does. It's my usual. And we're doing another quick Twisted Tales book review. Actually, we're doing it again because I deleted the original footage. So, apologizing in advance if I leave out anything significant that, for those who've read the book, think I should have talked about. It's been a month now, and I had originally filmed the review like right after I read it, so I was hot and ready, and now we're kind of cold and stale. We still have feelings though, and thoughts. Well, let me tell you about our stale thoughts on Straight On Till Morning. What does that even mean? Officially welcome back, guys, or welcome if you're new. We have another Twisted Tale review to talk about today, and this one's going to be Straight On Till Morning by Liz Braswell. This is actually the final reread that I did of the Twisted Tale series because I want to rank and I guess I already did the review parts, but I want to re-rank them. I initially ranked them when there was only 10. And we are encroaching on 20. Early next year we'll be on number 20. So it's time for another re-ranking. And to prevent it from being another 2-hour video, we are doing the review separate. So you just get the good ranking stuff later. But this was the last one I had to reread, and completing that goal was amazing. This book itself also, not too bad. Before I get into my nitty-gritty, somewhat lack of thoughts, I will read you guys the blurb as we do. It's a bit chunky. It's not terrible, but here we go. Let's tell you about Straight On Till Morning. What if Wendy first traveled to Neverland with Captain Hook? 16-year-old Wendy Darling's life is not what she imagined it would be. The doldrums of an empty house after her brothers have gone to school, the dull parties where everyone thinks she talks too much, and the fact that her parents have decided to send her away to Ireland as a governess. It all makes her wish things could be different. Wendy's only real escape is in writing down tales of Neverland. After nearly meeting her hero Peter Pan 4 years earlier, she still holds on to the childhood hope that his magical home truly exists. She also holds on to his shadow. So when an opportunity to travel to Neverland via pirate ship presents itself, Wendy makes a deal with the devil. But Neverland isn't quite the place she imagined it would be. Unexpected dangers and strange foes pop up at every turn, and a little pixie named Tinkerbell seems less than willing to help. But when Captain Hook reveals some rather permanent and evil plans for Neverland, it's up to the two of them to save Peter Pan and his world. The biggest thing that sticks out to me, especially with the reread, is when I first read the book. It's Peter Pan, right? I expected more Peter Pan. Most of us kind of, even though Peter Pan is a jerk and an imp and actually a terrible, terrible kind of character, I think we all liked Peter Pan in some way or another. So I was a bit disappointed the first time. Now, rereading it, knowing that, yeah, Peter Pan's in here and he's a turd. And also it's not a Peter Pan Wendy story. It's a Wendy Tinkerbell story. I went in with different eyes, and for that, I did enjoy the book more than initially. As the blurb says, Wendy is not getting along with her English life, especially her brothers, and she have grown up. It's been 4 years since that sort of innocent childhood where she and her brothers could have imaginary adventures to Neverland. They've never actually gone, mind you, but she's always told stories of Peter Pan, even to the point that he came to visit her and left his shadow, which Wendy's been holding on to 4 years, hoping he would come back and take her to Neverland, because real life is just boring and all she has is her stories. And those stories kind of make her parents uncomfortable because they just want her to be like a proper English girl. And she's got all these fantasy ideas. Maybe she just needs to grow up. That's basically what they're trying to do to her. And she doesn't want any of that. It's either the night before or relatively soon before she is sent to Ireland to become a governess and grow up. She leaves the house. She runs away in the middle of the night, having bargained with Captain Hook, which oddly enough, she sort of summoned him in a dream. It makes sense because it is Neverland. Everything's sort of connected to children's dreams and the makeup of everything. But in this sort of lucid dream slash like she was about to fall asleep, she was calling out, fall asleep. She was about to fall asleep, just desperately. She was calling out for Captain Hook to come and exchange passage to Neverland for Peter's shadow. And it worked. So Wendy gets to spend maybe a couple days on Hook's pirate ship, becoming their mother, which she quickly realizes is not what we're about. She's also still trying to get to Neverland, like that was the whole thing. She didn't sign up on this adventure to do laundry for pirates and mend their clothes and tell them stories. The theme of her becoming the mother figure, I get it. I wouldn't say it's hit too hard on the head, but I think thankfully because they did it with the pirates instead of the Lost Boys, it did take on that sort of, we really don't want to be here doing this situation, but let's put you, no, I gotta put you up there, don't I? Okay, book's ready. So while her exchange with Hook was passage to Neverland and back, she never specifically said getting off the ship, which was the loophole that Captain Hook found because he was like, I'm not letting you go once we get there. Like, I have the shadow. I'm going to go and defeat Peter Pan and you're stuck with me. But Wendy does get a little bit of help from one of the pirates and makes her escape from the ship once they're in water and not flying through the sky. And she gets to the shores of Neverland, to the shores of her dreams. And everything's trying to kill her. There's creatures she hasn't even thought of before that are coming out of the woodwork, quite literally, and either trying to eat her or to, in other ways, stop her progress. While out and about, one of those not so nice creatures that she runs into is actually Tinkerbell. Because Tinkerbell has no intention of helping Wendy. She has no interest. She does not care for the Wendy lady because she's jealous. She's very jealous of Peter Pan's sort of attention that he gives to Wendy. And they start off really just butting heads. But Wendy is here to help Peter Pan and get his shadow back to him, even though she might have made him deal with the wrong guy. Not to say that Tinkerbell warms up, but Tinkerbell understands, like, okay, we kind of have to work together just to get this to happen. They meet up with the Lost Boys, who have their own issues with Peter Pan. A lot of it is leadership. And the fact that Peter Pan's been, like, AWOL. He's just kind of gone off on his own and been depressy about not having his shadow, and it's affecting him. It is affecting him. We do see a bit later on just how, like, having the shadow separate, even though the shadow can kind of operate as its own entity in Neverland, really just kind of zaps part of you away. So no one knows where Peter Pan is. Wendy and Tink head out first because they've got to find Peter Pan. They've got to make the plan and get things going before the Lost Boys can even step in. So we don't really have a lot of the Lost Boys stuff. We have a little bit. Wendy and Tink go off, and Wendy wants to see the mermaids because she's still living her dream of visiting Neverland. And she's always wanted to see a mermaid and comb her hair or have them comb her hair. Needless to say, these are feisty mermaids who also would like to drown a girl. So that encounter, while it doesn't go well with the mermaids, it does sort of improve the bond between Wendy and Tinkerbell. And throughout the rest of the story, their bond as friends does get stronger and stronger. They, of course, go through a bunch of different trials. 1, trying to find Peter Pan. 2, trying to figure out what Captain Hook is doing. And 3, to get help because there's no way just the 2 or even the 3 of them could defeat Hook. While we are traveling along their adventure through Neverland and seeing the different landscapes, the different creatures, the different imaginations that other children have had to create this world, we also get slices of Captain Hook's, what's the best word to describe it? Mania? Because he is obsessed with defeating Peter Pan. Like, there's no afterthought. It's defeat Peter Pan. And everybody else is like, can we just plunder and be pirates, please? Because you've been obsessed and this is just a boy. Let us go be pirates. And so Hook's like promise to them is that once Peter Pan's defeated, then they'll go sail the seas and be pirates. But he thinks that Peter's shadow can assist him in finding the elusive Peter Pan. To do this, he does consult a witch who, through their interaction, he acquires a very sort of archaic dark magic book. And they create this cage for the shadow that's constantly torturing it and forcing it to work almost like a compass to point them to where Peter Pan is, which, dastardly, very nice. Like I said, he's a maniac and a little extra cray-cray. But as a villain, I appreciate that. When they do find Peter, he is suffering from his shadow suffering. Peter is also very one-minded when it comes to things like, as soon as he hears that the whole Captain Hook situation's going on, he is ready to fight him again. That's what they do. They fight each other, one wins, the other wins, and it goes on forever and ever because why not? They need a villain. Peter Pan's never going to grow up. It takes a little bit of convincing to really weigh in the severity of it, especially because the pirates are full on ready to destroy the Lost Boys and Peter Pan. Hook himself has a plan to destroy Neverland entirely, which could actually destroy everybody, not just Neverland itself. But I don't think the pirates are safe if that was the case. Once we have Peter in hand, we do get the Lost Boys in, we get some fairy help. Not too much. We actually just get one more fairy to help out, but it's just enough to face the pirates until they get captured. Eventually, it is more or less Wendy coming in to save the day, and she does this by finally harnessing what we're just going to call dream magic. It's more to the potential that everything in Neverland was created from her stories, from children's dreams all across the world. Not just from the darling children, but all these other dark things are from kids suffering. That's actually one of the sublines that I think was a nice touch to not only help Wendy grow as a character, but we kind of put a realistic heaviness. I know that doesn't make sense, but it gave weight to what's going on in the story. But Wendy has learned just a little bit how to really channel that story power, and she almost reinvents TikTok, the crocodile that Hook is terrified of. And it's thanks to that they are able to save Peter and the Lost Boys, and everything seems hunky-dory, except for the whole destroying Neverland part. Yeah, that almost kind of happened, without saying exactly what that plan was, because it's not a huge thing, but there is a bit of tension at the end of the book due to that, and I think it was earned, and I definitely did appreciate that it wasn't just we defeated the bad guy, it's all over. It's we defeated the bad guy, but also didn't he have something going on? Wasn't there more? So that was kind of nice. And then, the adventure was over and Wendy went back to London. And probably my favorite, one of my favorite endings in terms of the Twisted Tales was the epilogue that we got, where Wendy's grown up, she's a writer, she's kind of doing her own thing, and she's still living by herself. But every night she sets out tea, and she has a little mini tea set for this little mini miniature house that she's created, and she's just waiting for Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell doesn't show up. She hasn't shown up for years. But right at the end of the book, she shows up, and I can't tell you, it was the ending that I needed. So overall, I did enjoy this book much more as a physical read rather than the audiobook. I think that helped me kind of see the intricate details of Neverland and pick up on some more things. Maybe I'm just not a very close audiobook listener, which is fair. But I definitely recommend Straight On to Morning. If you're going to physically read it, I think you would enjoy it. And again, it's nice to have just a female friendship story, because that's basically what it is. We don't have romance going on. We don't have all this extra drama, because once Tink and Wendy are, they kind of get over that initial headbutting, they're buddies. And to see at the end of the book, she wasn't waiting for Peter, she was waiting for Tink. It was just a precious moment. So I enjoyed it. We'll see how it ends up in the full ranking, but happily I've completed my rereads. So I'm currently reading Fate Be Changed, and I'm very excited because I'm enjoying it thoroughly. So that will be the next Twisted Tale review that we see. But for now, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments below, one, if I forgot anything in particular, because again, it's been a month and I had to re-record this. But two, what would our question of the day be? Actually, since we're getting close to being caught up, and there's only a few more like new Twisted Tales that I haven't read yet. I have a few that I would like to see, but for those who have like read them, or at least know of them, and you've seen my reviews, what's a Twisted Tale that you guys would like to see? Because I would like to see Pocahontas. I would like to see a Lion King. Ooh, Emperor's New Groove could be fun. Like, those are just, oh, Treasure Planet. Some of these things did appear in the anthology, and I wasn't totally happy with them. If you are into this at all, let me know what sort of Twisted Tale based off the Disney movies that you guys would like to see, because I have some ideas. I have some ideas myself. But thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.